So this is the kind of same situation that I faced while I was traveling to Dubai,
Right.
and people are really, really, over there. This is basically a rule that you need to use a mask, else you'll be charged 3,000 dirham as a fine, which is pretty cool way to go. I think India should apply this because very soon we'll have not a very cozy situation, at least in India.
Yes, that's understandable.
Okay, so we are live in Facebook. Welcome once again to World Leaders Summit 2020, happening 7th of December to 16th of December. And today we have super amazing topic, deep tech, AI, and cybersecurity. Of course, in the first half, we will be awarding a couple of startups as well as industry leaders who will be joining us from Australia, India, and probably from Africa. And for all the attendees and for all the speakers, we have been selecting these industry leaders, we have been selecting these startups for quite a long time. We have been watching their progress, what all they do, and then what is their progress level, the kind of projects that they do. And then after that, our global jury members selected them anonymously. And of course, this is the day we'll be celebrating their success. We'll be giving them a small certificate and award as a token of gratitude and leadership. So I'm just going to give you the event flow, what is going to happen today. So we have Elnaz, our first speaker. She'll be talking more on robotics. She's a specialist over there. And we have Dr. Amit Banerjee, a very dear one, who will be speaking from Singapore regarding deep tech. And after that, we have Mr. Piyush Sharma. He's going to speak on cybersecurity and implementation. And then we have Hamid from Oman, who will be giving us, enlighten us about the latest happening on artificial intelligence. And of course, after that, as you know, we'll be giving the recognition and certificates to the startup. I can see that Martha already joined from Africa. Welcome, Martha, once again. Welcome, Farah from Malaysia. Welcome, Hazel from Australia. And I can see a couple of more people who are joining one by one. Um, so, of course, we are expecting few of those people. Uh, Great. Okay. So you already got likes in Facebook. And for all of you, let me tell you, if you can't join the Zoom session, sometimes it's overloaded due to lot of attendees. You can always go to Facebook Live. You can comment over there or probably send out the message within 2 to 3 minutes. We usually respond back. It's a beautiful teamwork that we are having. And then you can send us tweet, you can send us tweet message, you can message us in Instagram. So for all of you, our Instagram handle is World Leader Summit, Facebook World Leader Summit, Twitter World Leader Sum 1, and LinkedIn, same World Leader Summit. I'm really glad and blessed that all these people, whoever is joining us, they are actually liking us, commenting us in all these social media. Everything is viral, and glad that the vibration is really, really active and alive. Um, Thank you so much for following us and commenting and giving us all those questions for the speakers. I'll give you the event flow management system again. Once you are listening to any speaker, you are supposed to give us the question in the chat box so that the host can actually give the question to the speaker. And second option is you can use the Q&A. You can put your question over there and we will be answering it in live. And the third option, once again, you go to the social media, send us a message or comment in the live commentary box. We'll pick that question up and then give it to you over here. And the fourth option is you can WhatsApp us to the number +91 9830082617. I'll be giving you a response and pick up the question and shoot it to the exact speaker. Then we have another couple of options like fifth and sixth. We have a lot of live streaming happening in various different other local social media, which is basically in Africa, in southeast part of Asia, as well as in Russia and US. You can always give us those comments. We'll be more than happy to take it up and give it to the speakers. So for the sake of everyone, we are blessed and we are really honored that all of you supported us, gave us all the courage, all the strength so that we can take it forward. Welcome, Malama ma'am, for attending each and every session of ours. Really glad and blessed. We had a interesting session yesterday, and let me give you a few bit of understanding what happened yesterday. Yesterday was the day for social impact and women entrepreneurship, and we had a beautiful, great panel since morning. We started with Chandra, who actually spoke from Finland, logged in from Germany. Uh, Very different time zone. He logged in around 3:30 a.m. in the morning, and after that, we had um, our next speaker, Dr. Maya. She logged in from US late at night and spoke really well. Then after that, Mr. Joseph from India, and then Farah from Malaysia. She spoke massively well. Come on, man, I don't have any words for her. And then we had Nofer. She was like amazing, super, logged in from Israel. Then we had a session break. We started with a very beautiful panel started by Dr. Tina Anton from UK, and after that, Concetta from Belgium, Bianca from Romania, Vesh from Scotland, then Dr. Malama from India. After that, we had Shubhangshu from India, Curtin from Germany, and Sadia from Canada. We are blessed that you spoke so well, and the day was really super. Before that day, 8th December, we had Health, Ayurveda, Biotech, and Agri. We started with Dr. Hazel from Australia, Dr. Prashul Misra from US, Nilipa from India, Anuj from India, Dr. Rudra Shah from India. After that, we had a session break. Miguel from Spain, Juan from Spain, Paramita Basu from USA, Sir Timothy from USA, Dr. Diane from USA. 7th of December, the first day that we started by Dr. Hazel from Australia, and she was really amazing. After that, another cool speaker. He started from Dubai, Kaiser. Thank you so much. Eric from China, Mr. Mohammed from Kuwait, Ferry from Sweden, and Isabella from Spain. We had the session break started by Ritesh Jain, Smarajit Mitra, Ritesh from UK, Smarajit from India, Dr. Wendy Charles from USA, Michelle from UK, and Martin CJ from USA. So today we are going to start our session very soon. I can see that our first speaker is already there. December 10th, we are starting the session with AI, deep tech, and cybersecurity. Let me give thanks to all the ecosystem partners, all the partners that we have in World Leaders Summit. Let me repeat the names again. Anim Gaming, thank you so much for all the streaming that you guys are doing. Deep Tech Knowledge, thank you for the news that you are doing for us. 8 Metals, Glamour Face, Ablu Global, Animation Reviews, Supreme Corp, Virtual Infocom, IOI Industries, VGD, Cybersecurity Gigs, I Am Superhero, Yoga Training for You, My Films, Sports Zone In, Second Life Tech, Cosplay Seller, Squash Code, Exo Designs, Entrepreneur Face. Thank you for all the news. Achibazab, BizTech, thank you for all the sharing and all the social media activities that you guys are doing. IBM TV, thank you for the live streaming. TechSauce, the largest ecosystem in Thailand. Thank you so much for all the support. I lead Extended Reality Developers of India, Billion Divas, Wadhwani Foundation, NEN, Africa Digital. Thank you guys for all the news that's happening in Africa. Adamas University, thank you so much for all the support that you are giving. ASD Africa, thank you so much for all the African startups that you are actually proposing. Thank you so much, guys. So we have our first speaker, and this is the time we are supposed to start. So let me formally welcome our first speaker, Elnaz. Give me a second to make a live stream for her. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome Elnaz Saraf. Elnaz is the founder and CEO of Rabi Robot. She is Time Best Innovation Force Technology Council official member, logging from Mountain View, California, United States. and an amazing, super cool human being. Welcome to World Leaders Summit, Elnaz.
Hi, IJ. Thank you very much. I'm quite excited to be here, and thank you for inviting me to share my experience today. And if you are ready to start, I can share my screen and discuss a little bit about what we are doing, a little bit about AI and self-guided learning, especially utilizing educational robots.
Of course, but before that, I need a small favor. You need to look at the camera for a picture, please.
Sure.
Give me a second. 1, 2, 3. Give me a second. Let me see if this is fine because we are doing live tweet. Perfect. Thank you so much. Session is yours, ma'am.
Perfect. Let me do that. And to make sure you can see my screen. So you see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Once again, hi everybody. I'm really excited to be here and share my findings and experience with you in the field of AI and educational robots. A little bit about me as well. I moved to the US about 15 years ago. When I moved here, I worked on several startups, failed, learned my lesson, and about 6 years ago, I co-founded my first company, iBaby, which we have baby monitors. That actually really helped me to be close to technology and parents. There, I learned so much about the importance of early childhood education and that our education system is totally outdated and it really needs to utilize a lot of changes by technology. Knowing that, I decided to utilize advanced technology and AI to make a difference in the education industry. That said, I founded Roiby in 2019 to change the way that actually children learn. Named by Time Magazine as one of the best inventions in education, Roiby Robot is an AI-powered educational robot that we are focusing to teach children ages 3 to 7 in language learning and basic STEM. Today, I want to discuss the importance of self-guided learning, utilizing artificial intelligence in children's learning, why we started our work at Roiby, and what we've seen in terms of impact and trends. But first, I have to say, education is very close to my heart, actually. From a young age, my parents were very active in my educational journey, which truly helped me in learning the values of education that encouraged me to get involved in technology, in education, art, and to be able to provide equal opportunities for children across the globe. Our initial idea, actually my initial idea in the beginning, started on a much broader scale when I saw the need for change. Through a lot of market research and discussions with families, researchers, and also a lot of industry experts, I realized that there is such a significant gap for the use of technology, specifically when it comes to artificial intelligence in early childhood education, a time that is the most critical time in a child's development. And of course, you barely see a really good usage of AI when it comes to early childhood. There are over 250 million children globally at risk of not reaching their full potential by age 5 because our education system is one size fits all. And also, there is a huge shortage, about 69 million teacher shortage in the world. Now, with advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence and machine learning, educational robots can become extension of teachers to educate more children around the world on self-paced and self-guided capacity. Plus, AI can expand many potentials, especially when it comes to assessments and generating individualized reports for children. You know, young children's early acquisition of language and vocabulary relates positively to their later ability to integrate their linguistic and actually conceptual STEM knowledge up to and even beyond the elementary age. So early contexts of language and their knowledge in this area for young children are so important to document and also understand. For example, to give you an example, a child as young as 18 months old is really able to use a robust social cues to learn new words or vocabularies, very similar to the way that they learn from adults. Finally, there is relatively very small research about child and robot interactions, especially when it comes to younger children. But if, the evidence really shows the effectiveness of this technological learning tool for young children, and especially preschool age children can really learn new words equally from human and actually a robot. As a result of these findings, we at Roiby, as a company that works on educational robots, we decided to use AI to make a robot to make the learning experience interactive and not passive. The goal is to focus mainly on communications and language learning with embedded lessons in STEM. So we started this mission to provide self-guided learning through artificial intelligence, which means children can really learn at their own pace. It's a device that really designed for children and has a focus on communication and language, which is an important area for children and makes it a unique companion for them. You may know that when working in AI, you would see a lot of limitations, especially having enough data, and puts a lot of pressure on companies because it affects the accuracy of the engines, especially if it is related to voice recognition. As part of the plans in expansion and also being able to help as many children as we can, ultimately, how we decided to go about fixing this problem was that to bring on board a company that has been collecting data from over 150,000 children in English, Mandarin, and 5 years of data collection in order to help our company do a better job on ASR engine, which is the automatic speech recognition engine. This also added over 3,500 hours of machine training to our voice engine. And I'm sure a lot of you out there are experiencing the same issues, especially when you work in, in areas that deals with children. Specifically, it's more sensitive to actually collect data. Aside from the technology, we really spend a lot of time to make sure that the educational robot that is interacting with children is gender neutral and it is friendly. We wanted to make sure that the robot is small, it is portable, and easy to play. And these factors are really important when it comes to a device that the child always interacts with it. Because, Roiby Robot has been built to become a companion robot and not to have any human features. And as you can see on this screen, there are a lot of robots out there that they look very similar to humans, and we've been hearing from kids that they're kind of scared when they look at it. We didn't also put a face on it because based on our research, we understood that those types of emoji faces can actually confuse children. These are some things that you really need to understand and do a lot of research if you are working in any robotics area. We made sure that our design doesn't really violate the child's trust. They can see it as a companion friend, and that actually would increase a lot of interaction. This combination of design and content can create effective learning experience for children. It allows for a self-guided learning experience that leads to a lifelong learning journey, basically. Now, with the use of AI and machine learning, we are one of the companies that working in creating strategies by utilizing ML, which is machine learning, to implement our findings into our technology to make the learning and the interaction between the educational robot and kids as more personalized as possible. You know, in schools, teachers are already overwhelmed. Parents are also overwhelmed. They already work hard, and it's really not easy to give individual attention to every child. So with the use of AI, we can create ways for teachers, also even parents, to implement their content in a robot like Roibi or some other educational robot, and for children to learn on a self-guided basis. Educational robots can play actually a significant role as an assistant to use machine learning to understand where the child is strong and where they need more help, then find the best solution. For example, let's say if a child likes lessons that are about animals, but he's not good at math, then the machine can understand this and get the child more engaged by teaching him lessons that have combination of, for example, let's say counting cats. This is, of course, a very simple example, or we are working on our side on a patent pending technology to evaluate how the child is responding to the lessons by just simply using emotion detection. If the child is excited about a lesson, then we know that topic is, for example, of interest. And that's another use case of AI in educational robots. Currently, we can measure the growth or decline of users' interaction with the robot's content. Since a couple of months ago, we've noticed an 84% increase in user interaction with our robot. Also, another study showed that the usage was increased from 20 minutes a day to about 3.5 hours a day, which is quite significant, actually. We believe that this spike was not just as a result of the pandemic that the stay-at-home orders, but also due to improvements we've made through the AI technology and the easy use of our educational content and robot. Some studies have shown that children have learned 10% better through educational robots because they actually see it as a friend. Almost every day, we hear stories about how we are impacting children's lives. For example, a child that barely talks about her day with her parents, she talks every day with her robot, just like a friend, and tells the robot about the day, because it gains their trust as a companion. This obviously makes us excited because it shows that we've been successfully utilizing AI in a way that is increasing child's curiosity and trust. Or we had another case also with autism that the parents told us that our robot has been really helpful with teaching the child concepts of social emotional behavior in combination with the child's therapy, and it's actually increased motivation. We created our robots not only to enhance the learning experience of students, but also give assistance to educators and parents. And this is an area I really encourage you to think about when you work on the field of AI, because, you know, robots are not going to replace humans. That's a question we constantly get. People are so worried about this fact. But one of the most important aspects of education is this one-on-one interaction. And robots what they can do is to assist teachers or even parents by taking care of some aspects of their jobs that can be done automated, and in turn, they can spend a lot of time on activities such as creating the curriculum or doing more creative work. We know that humans are imperfect and robots are also are not perfect. A false algorithm or just a simple bug in the system can disrupt a robot's capabilities. But there are specific tasks like, for example, grading, practicing, repeating, and the learning assessments that machine learning can actually do faster. And in some examples, actually, it could be easier developing assessments for lessons in some areas. For example, it's difficult to create reports in areas such as humanity, but easy to assess in math. Since the beginning of pandemic, we've been facing new challenges, which forces us to become more creative by utilizing the technology. We know that one of the biggest issues that we constantly hear specifically through the space in education is after pandemic, the social emotional needs of children. And that's the area that I can see a lot of opportunities utilizing AI. This is something the experts and teachers are telling us, and we know that the effects can be long-term. So we need to constantly think how we can use AI and robots to give children a better way of learning. One case that we developed is now kids are more at home. They're not moving around so much in the open space. So we started working on activities that encourages movement around the house and can get children up and moving. We created special character. It's like a scientist that teaches children about the scientific methods, about health, washing hands. Because we have already developed a character as a friendly robot, we can teach children friendly suggestions. We use a combination of AI and robot sensor to see when the child, for example, puts down the robot, we actually prompt the child to go and wash their hand, or even, for example, take their vitamins. So which is the reason I tell you this is now there are a lot of opportunities in many areas to utilize AI to create opportunities that are really not there. I always say change is good when it is, even if it's difficult to adjust at first. The pandemic really brought a change that we always wanted to see, especially in utilizing AI in educational robots and specifically in education system. Add more technology and innovation to be used, more possibilities and opportunities outside of the classrooms. As an AI and robotics company that started 3.5 years ago, our vision has always been to bring learning outside of the classroom because learning can basically continue anywhere. Now with AI, we can provide personalized attention to every child outside of the classroom, and that also creates a lot of opportunities for many new startups to actually grow. Now, with these few months of remote learning, educators can see that it is definitely possible to either fully go online or implement a hybrid model. it is estimated that actually remote learning will have at least 15% growth every year. But I believe actually this number will significantly increase, and it will open up a lot of opportunities and doors for the use of AI and educational robots. Of course, it will take time and more try with different sorts of technologies to see what works best. But more and more we hear that schools and parents are becoming more accepting of the advanced technologies, and especially AI. We keep hearing different stories that parents or educators are really scared of AI. But I can tell you that being in this industry, things are gradually changing. All of these understandings came about with us constantly asking our users, customers, parents, teachers about how we can actually help them with our technology to change the learning experience. So if you are working on a technology or utilizing AI, what I can suggest is definitely ask as many questions as you can from your audience. Let me make sure. I think my presentation. Can you see my screen? Okay, good. One of the most significant impacts of self-guided learning through AI is that it will merge traditional classrooms with online or self-directed learning. Self-guided learning through AI can bring us into a new era of education in which quality education can be available for more children around the world. It can turn every environment into a potential opportunity for learning through fun and play. And imagine a world where AI is used in our education system to free up teachers so they can focus on the most critical skills for any learner's development, like critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. We are continuously also looking for experts, advisors, partners from all around the world to join us on our journey to provide quality education to all children across the globe. So I invite you to get in touch with me or my colleagues at Roybe, so together we can change the way children learn in the future. And thank you. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for the beautiful presentation. It was really, really amazing. And we're open for Q&A. Give me a second to gather the questions from a few of the social medias. I can see that, okay. Okay, usually the question comes in the Q&A or in the chat box. Let me see if there is any. And then okay, already the first question came in the Q&A from Marco from Australia. What education in AI robotics infrastructure and solutions in rural regions globally? Please highlight the challenges.
One of the biggest challenges so far I see in terms of AI and in the education space is that not having enough resources. One of the areas that I just mentioned is there is not much data specifically when you are dealing with children. And the possibilities of getting this data in order to train the machine is very difficult. Even for us, for example, to give you an example, is that even when the child has different accents, our machine, the ASR engine, oftentimes has problem detecting what the child says. For example, the English accent in the US or in the UK or Australia, they're all different. So those are the limitations that I can see in terms of the AI. But also in a lot of areas, cities are okay, but in a lot of areas, there is limitation even for internet access. Believe it or not, even in the US itself, we have a lot of students that they don't even have access to internet. So my hope is in the future to see technologies that can utilize AI to expand into the areas that they don't have these resources. And one area that can actually help is if we could utilize Edge AI. As an example, we've been doing a lot of research over the past year on our voice recognition engine to be able to do the recognition on the device. So there is no internet connection needed. And that's how I can see we can expand and go to regions and areas that they have some limitations. And those are definitely the areas of a lot of opportunities for many companies.
Okay, so we have another question from Ankit. Do you have local language support?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. So on our app, we do have localization, but on the voice recognition, we only currently support English and Chinese Mandarin language, and we have plans to add Spanish language. We definitely welcome people that they have the technology, especially on the voice recognition, to stay in touch with us, because we definitely want to add more languages. But as you can imagine, building the engine from the ground up is a very difficult, it's a challenge, definitely.
Okay, so we have got another question from Dr. Hazel. As moms, we would be concerned about our children's privacy. What about the facial recognition data being collected?
Sure, we hear that a lot, as you can imagine. It's quite interesting because a lot of parents they give their phones and tablets to their kids. The phone has face recognition. That's how it gets opened up, right? And it has a camera. But when it comes to robots, a lot of people are more concerned about it. Maybe because it's just a new area and it's going to take some time for people to get used to the fact that robots can also be friendly. And in terms of the face detection, at least for what we do our face recognition on the device. So when we have the picture of the child, it gets stored on the device, so it's not even connected to the cloud. So that's how we can protect the privacy of children, to make sure those pictures are not hacked or anything bad happens to it. But we also educate our users, our customers, the parents, about the benefits of utilizing these technologies to really benefit children.
Okay, so we have another question. Yeah, we have another question. So you're actually blasted with questions, of course, from social media as well. But let me take these first. Are you also working on social intelligence? Is the device identity and register people while communicating?
Not at the moment, but we do have plans to expand in this area, especially also for social emotional learning. So again, we are looking for expert partners to really help us and guide us to help more children as we can, utilizing the technologies that we already have available.
Super. Thank you for all the question and answer. Guys, we will be probably overshooting time. So I'll request Ilnaz to stay with us, because we have a beautiful summit that is coming up, which is Startup Awards, and she will be actually helped us to announce all those awards to all the awardees. So she'll be the host for today morning's Startup Award, giving award to the awardees. Ilnaz, could you please look at the camera so that I can take a snap? 1, 2, 3. Yes, thank you so much. So I'll request Dr. Amit Banerjee to come forward. Yes, please. Dr. Amit Banerjee, I can see you there. Super.
Hi, Arijit. Yeah, good morning.
Very good morning. So ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome Dr. Amit Banerjee. He's a scientist, he's a consultant, he's an instrumentation architect, he's a microelectronic technologies specialist, he's a keynote speaker and an author, and he's a great human being. Thank you so much, Amit, for coming here and logging from Singapore. By heart Indian, the session is yours, Amit.
Yeah, thank you so much, Arijit. I mean, for the last one, the hard part, anyway. And yeah, it's a wonderful talk. I think in the morning. I think Elnaz, I mean, you're particularly working on a very important area. I understand, and that has a lot of scopes. I'm more towards into the microelectronic technologies and devices, and I'd like to focus more development of instrumentation, and maybe biomedical application has been something that I've been started working in recent times. And kindly allow me to share my slides, because otherwise I don't want to take too much of time. It's going to be slightly technical.
We all love technology.
Yes, that's something I've learned from you, actually. So let me get started with this one. So the idea is to give you an idea of what we're doing in the microelectronic technologies and devices for biomedical and healthcare applications recently, and to acknowledge, I mean, this is entirely my group in Japan, which is Professor Hiromoto and Professor Inokawa, who have been the pioneer in these areas. And definitely there is huge team working on this. I mean, these technologies you cannot invent just overnight. I mean, you need years of effort with many of our students working together. Now, it comes in at a very peculiar time that we are going through right now, which is this COVID-19 that's actually everywhere. You can hear about this. And that's not what we started out with when we started working on this technology. But we're definitely expecting a lot of medical surveillance, if that is the term I have to use. And there are some already off-the-shelf systems available. Particularly, I'm talking about terahertz cameras, not thermal cameras in general. And these cameras do have the capacity to scan like thousands of people at the same time. There are some problems, but there are ready systems available already. And if you think about this, then because of the COVID-19 impact, the overall body scanner market is, particularly in the terahertz, it is actually has jumped by almost twice the amount that was expected to have in recent times. And if you like, so the technology we're using is basically microbolometer. It's a thermal sensor. And there are other ways of doing that also. But basically, because of the surge of COVID-19, this thermal sensors, along with like combined with AI cameras and all that's coming up like very important in coming decade, I think. Now, my area of work is more into room temperature terahertz detector that we developed a few years back. And the reason why it is so important and we're very optimistic about getting it on the ground is because it's room temperature. So generally thermal, that's where it starts getting technical. But so I think because we have a lot of thermal noise all around us everywhere. So naturally, when you start having a detector which wants to detect some kind of a thermal imaging, then it needs to be ultra cooled. I mean, it needs to be at a temperature at 4K generally. So all the detectors earlier we had, the ones we are using for telescope, radio telescope, including Scuba 1, Scuba 2, and all that, they are basically terahertz thermal detectors. They do outstanding imaging, but or at 4K, which is the like lowest temperature that we can possibly reach. And this device is the one we are proposing here, is chip integrable. So you can put it in a chip, you can put it probably in your mobile phone, and definitely some handheld system we can actually use it into, and it can be used for medical screening devices also. Now, the term yesterday, I think I heard from this forum only, that is repurposing medicines. And now I think I'm inclined to use in my like future papers or books or chapters, repurposing of whatever we're doing here. Because apparently we started out with actually developing a thermal imaging device, a thermal detection system, which could be used for semiconductor systems, devices, electrical lines, batteries, cables, motors, smart buildings. I mean, anywhere you have unintentional heating. So it should detect it and it should report it and it should actually act. It can cut the line out of that. But now we are trying to repurpose it more towards screening and imaging. And that also requires a backend in the AI. It requires automatic detection. I'll get to all of that. So the background I'm coming from is IPERC, which is the Innovative Photonic Evaluation Research Center. It's a research initiative with the Research Institute of Electronics, Hamamatsu School of Medicine, Graduate School of Creation of Photonics of Industries, and Hamamatsu Photonics. So people in the photonic community would know about Hamamatsu Photonics because these are the people who are responsible for, I think, 14 novels right this moment, including the blue LEDs and all that. They're world-class in sensor development. And our division were also awarded one IEEE milestone. The Research Institute of Electronics was given the IEEE milestone because of the invention of the television. The electronic television was invented by Taki Yanaki, Professor Taki Yanaki, from this lab only. And the spectrum I'm talking about is not the entire infrared, because there are world leaders in infrared already. The thermal imaging is mostly the infrared part of it. And there are FLIR and some other companies which are like working on this area for like 50 plus years. But terahertz becomes more difficult to actually detect. And it's one part of the whole like electromagnetic spectrum, which is like 10 power 12 hertz of the frequency. And it comes with this capacity to actually see through barriers and actually see through see concealed objects. And because of this particular wavelength, it is adequate for spatial resolution for imaging. And that is why we are actually looking forward for using it for imaging application. And it is non-ionizing, and because of its modest intensities that is required for getting some response out of this, it's very safe to use in humans. So that is why that's better than X-rays, which cannot be used in many places for body scanners and even medical imaging. Particularly if you think about Singapore, it doesn't have any X-rays in the airports. And terahertz photonics does have many applications, particularly the one that is going to shoot to the sky is the industrial non-destructive testings, particularly medicines and all. Definitely it has many, many defense applications. I'll not cover this one here. Biomedical applications cover from dentistry to dermatology to biosensors, oncologies, and others. And definitely it has huge, huge applications in high-speed communication. I mean, this is going to be the next big thing. As you see that, if you see that projection in next few years' time, I have been using this slide for quite some time now. So it's still telecommunication, which is going to use most of this spectrum because of ultra high speed connections. And we are somewhere here. So this technology has been out there for quite some time, and we're somewhere here at this moment, which is the detector arrays, more compact and powerful systems that we are trying to develop now. And I could say that my team works on both. Like we work on the sources, we work on the detectors, and at the same time we have plans for online systems. And then we start getting into more into integration with larger factories and systems. Now, when we deal with terahertz imaging, now, like I'm basically a device person. I work more on the instrumentation and the device part, but definitely imaging is something that we have to do for finally giving it to the consumers, the applications. And you already have seen some of these applications going online, which is like, you can actually see hidden weapons or drugs or something like that when you do terahertz body scanning. And that is why it is beneficial than X-rays, because it is not harmful to the health. It doesn't make any cellular level change. Now, it can be used for in a very low intensity to scan some X-ray, scan envelopes and all that. That is also being used for like instead of X-rays. And because of its so efficient scanning and acquisition, I would say there's still some room to work on that. We have been putting these things into interplanetary studies also. Now, this is one system that I have been particularly seeing. It is from TerraSense. This company actually working with many of these devices. You can buy some of this off-the-shelf systems. And it can be used in airports also. And there are reports that you can actually use terahertz imaging with radar. It could be used as a radar application. It can throw up to 20 meter of standoff range. And that is where the application in defense actually comes in play. So it can actually help like shooting, like actually picking up right soft spot in a military target. It can be used for like detection of something like unwanted devices which is being buried under some person. So we are talking about a long, like a long distance imaging, and we are talking about definitely reducing down the noise coming from the environment, which is the thermal noise. But interesting part is it can actually unmask stealth fighters. Now, with all this noise, I think eventually we would like to focus more into the biomedical imaging application. In simple, it's thermography. So if you know about thermography, it's one area of imaging where we detect the skin temperature or the gradient of the skin temperature. And with careful study and if you have thousands of data, which we have these days with the various systems coming in, the big data and the analytic machine learning working together with us. And we have many of the hospitals are more agreeing towards sharing their medical data, and actually, we can do some kind of modeling with these ones and develop this kind of thermographic detection systems. We can able to actually figure out, even if you have a slightest chance of some kind of disease in the near future, because the thermography gives you a sort of futuristic understanding of the cellular conditions. The reason why we are focusing more into biomedical application is because of its outstanding resolution. So if you think, then from visible region, terahertz is actually good because it gives you an understanding about the soft tissue around bones and other things. And definitely some of the technical parts are there, which is the spectral fingerprint. Terahertz can give you a peculiar kind of, a very particular kind of fingerprints, which is a spectrum for each of the molecules, for each of the like vibration, rotation, translational of molecules. And that, from a scientist or from a scientific view, we can actually like fingerprint them to various molecules or various vibrations. It is transparent to materials, which are mostly like non-polar molecules. It does have a strong absorption of water. So that is something we are facing for human applications, because humans are mostly water. A large part of us is water. Now, it does have excellent time and spatial resolution. And it is non-invasive, non-ionizing, the reason why we're using it for biomedical applications. If you see what I mentioned, that if you have water, so the left image of this leaf doesn't have any water, it has been dried. So you can see the vein areas are more carefully observable than the one on the right, which is water. But this has been now, I mean, it's not a possibility now. We are actually developing this kind of system. So we have many systems and devices that is coming up with the spectroscopy or other kind of methodologies. And definitely imaging systems. Now, if you see, there's some reports of cellular imaging for this one. So it's a cancer cell that has been designated by terahertz imaging. We have done it with disease set tissues of other kind of diseases also, sometimes in teeth. But even saying all that, still it is a bit far from a large scale application because of terahertz sources. we happen to have really large terahertz sources, what we are using these days. And the measurement speeds and the scanning times are not very good for detectors. These systems are bulky, as I mentioned. So we happen to be working on a chip integrable kind of a system on source also. And we used impact diode kind of a system, and we got very good results. We have several publications coming up on this one. And the detector, which is my core area. If you see that, because of many of the, so the infrared and the terahertz detector region in many of these years still have a terahertz gap somewhere here at 1 terahertz, because it's so difficult to detect. And that's what we're trying to work on. We're trying to fill up this gap. We're trying to come up with many devices of this gap. And that is our device, which is basically a thermal detector. And the advantage of using a thermal detector instead of a photon detector is that it doesn't need a cryogenic cooling. Photon detectors always need a cryogenic cooling. And here we have an antenna which would pick up particular frequencies. So where here, this ones are, we have modulated this one for 1 terahertz of wavelength. So it will only pick up that wavelength, and it will inject it into the thermistor and heater, which is floating on top of a cavity. So making this device is challenging, but it gives you the result. So the electrical response that you get from this one will be sent to your external devices for imaging and detection. So while working on these devices, now the part where the microelectronic technology comes into play, and that's where we spend years and years of our time, is when you're trying to miniaturize these devices. So the standalone or the kind of like the systems that I already mentioned, sometimes in TerraSense and all these companies, they're using bulk materials, which is more like X-rays. So you need a plate to actually do the sensing. And these are big and bulky systems. Now, when we deal with this same detection in a chip, then you need to go really in micro or nano size of features. We are talking about 50 nanometers of feature size here. So one part of your device would be like 50 or maybe 10 nanometer of size, which becomes extremely difficult to survive. And while dealing with this, we realized that 2 of the key parameters, which is temperature coefficient of resistance and the noise equivalent power, which is simply the noise in the system. And we figured while we start miniaturizing these devices, trying to put them into, try to put millions of them into a chip, it drastically changes its properties. So what you have in a bulk device, as I mentioned, most of the people are using bulk devices, bulk materials, your TCR or your resistivity actually stays very close to the bulk material properties, which is very good for the application. We don't want it to go down, but that's what happens when you miniaturize these devices. When the feature size actually reduces down to a few nanometers, we lose most of it. We did a detailed study on why this happens. We did scanning electron microscope and electron beam scattering diffraction kind of system applications, like studies to actually understand what is changing within the material. And we figured out in nanoscale level how things are changing. I mean, when you're reducing down the size, then it changes the material's property. We had to do something to actually reduce that from happening. And then we came up with this design. And we used 6 different layers of EBL, which is the electron beam lithography. This is one technology that has been heavily used for most of the nanoelectronics, microelectronics devices that we use. So most what I'm talking about are fully compatible with your standard semiconductor device fabrication technologies. So what Intel, Qualcomm, or any of these big companies, Micron, are using, and like TSMC, and most of these technologies are used in your mobile phone, your laptop, any of the handheld systems. So we are using the same technology to fabricate these devices. So all we need is to give this design to some company and ask them to fabricate it for us. But it is so difficult because it's actually 6 different layers. So we are talking about stacking different layers on one another and aligning them with a precision of few nanometers. And it's just an idea about how we do that. So it requires several like alignment marks fabrication. Then the thermistor fabrication needs to be done. We need to check every step and optimize this one. Then finally, what we get is this. So this is an uncooled antenna coupled terahertz micromillimeter with antennas. We coupled 16 of these things because if you increase more of this one, your performance will basically couple and increase. And that's what we're looking for. And it's more into the responsivity, which actually, the responsivity is the response with the little amount of signal, the more you can enhance it. So that very much depends on the bias current, but you cannot increase the bias current as much as you want. You actually need to do something else about this, otherwise it's going to just blow off. So the resistivity is one, the TCR is another one, as I mentioned. So we tested out several of these devices and we found some good response with the material titanium, because titanium has the advantage of this can be used with like standard semiconductor technologies for fabrication. We tried platinum also, didn't give us good result. We tested out the noise also because that seems to be a quite important parameter here. Then eventually what we got is comparative to all the other ones, which is from technical literatures. Most of the people are using VOX or VOX thin films, VO2, these are as thin films, absorber type titanium films, and all that. And if you can see, these are all bulk materials and their responsibility is still pretty good and far higher than ours. Then whereas what we have developed, and probably we are the only group right now working on this one or got the results in the first, is a minder kind of a structure for which we could increase the resistance overall and still keep the responsivity high and still make it a chip integratable system. Probably we are the only one who has this chip integratable design. So this is the final, the terahertz response. And if you see at 1 terahertz, we do have a responsivity of 6,600 volts per watt, which is quite good, which is very good for thermal imaging right this moment. We still need a source. So, and we are still optimizing on this one. And that's towards the end of my talk. I'll not bore you more. We recently wrote a book on the terahertz biomedical and healthcare technologies and applications already in the shelves. I have 2 more books on the emerging trends of terahertz engineering and system technologies, and definitely on the solid state devices and physics. I've been also trying to work more with various groups on Internet of Things for healthcare technologies and medical Internet of Things for smart healthcare. That is my group in Japan. And this should be it, I think. Arijit, over to you.
Thank you so much for the lovely, amazing session. Thank you, Dr. Amit. So we are open for question and answer, but before that, Amit, I need you to look at the screen for the picture, please.
Right, Arijit, definitely.
1, 2, 3. I think I should start a new hobby like taking pictures. Okay.
Would be nice, actually.
Okay, that was actually really a great technical session and a lot of information. We have got first question practically from the social media, which is again a bit of probably you can answer that because I have no clue about this question. Well, when you talk about deep tech implementation into terahertz, and when we integrate the same as you are speaking, that it's skipped by the cryogenic sector. What is your implementation into industry? What is that we can see? What are the industry implementations? Number one. Number two, if as a industry passionate person, I want to take it forward, do you have any partnership model? Okay.
That's interesting, actually. That's something we are looking for. I mean, we really want industries to actually come forward, ask us this question so that we can address these problems and we can actually partner. So yes, so we do have some industry partners, let me tell you this, because you cannot do this kind of technological development without working with the industries. And that's why, I mean, I'm actually part of some microelectronic companies. I'll not name them, but as advisors, so that like we understand our needs. And for terahertz technology, it's a very important point that you raised. I mean, like you got into the application part, which is, so most of the time the thermal sensors that is being used traditionally, and they have done really good. I mean, if you Google about Scuba 1, Scuba 2, this has been used for 30-40 years with the Hubble telescope. The interesting part is that they have given you amazing imaging. And the terahertz part was so important to actually detect, because if you think about the deep space application, the deep space imaging, that's going to be terahertz. That's the only part probably survives. Now, what happens is they are all ultra cool. They're all in 4K. So these are gigantic devices next to your computers, next to your imaging systems. But what we are doing now is we are actually getting away from the ultra cold systems. We are developing room temperature systems. So that is the system I just presented here is a room temperature one. And also some of the off-the-shelf systems, as I mentioned, they are also room temperature, because without that, you cannot put them into airports, right? Now, but they're using the bulk materials. So their systems are still going to be like pretty big. So you can compare this one with X-rays, because like if you think we have gigantic X-ray machines in hospitals, people need to be carried to that. I find it so primitive. I find it like, so we discussed about developing some X-ray systems, which is also handheld. And if some of you are interested, maybe we do have ideas. Actually, we have people working on handheld X-ray systems. For terahertz, the one I proposed is a handheld system. We have the detector ready for that. We have the source ready for that. And we are talking with various agencies. And we are towards the final implementation. And probably by next 1 year or 1.5 years, we're expecting something on the ground. So yes, definitely we have a partnership model. We can speak about that. Thank you, Arijit.
Okay. So, short tweet message. Are you a deep tissue imaging scientist?
Right. No, I'm not a deep tissues imaging scientist. I mean, we have, so as I mentioned, like you cannot be working on everything. I mean, like you cannot be an expert of everything. We are basically device and instrumentation people. So as we started working on the device, and then we realized there is no instrument to actually support the kind of work we do. So we started developing our own instrument. That's how I become instrument architect. But when we go into application, like we have to deal with various applications. So we have teams for that. We have teams for imaging. We have team for biomedical application. And whatever I showed for this one is not my data. It's data from some other group. We have very smart computer engineers actually dealing with the medical imaging part, I would say. For deep tissue, I still think there are some things quite complicated for terahertz. So surface engineering is like surface detection is fine, because it has difficulty in penetrating more than, I think, 6 millimeter depth. So that's something some expert can talk about.
Okay, this is a WhatsApp message I have got. Dr. Amit, kudos to your research, but I'm just translating because it is in Hindi actually. But why don't we start something like this in India? And as a passionate Indian person, I can see a lot of Indians like Arijit sir, they are doing good work out of India. Who is asking both of you not to do such kind of activities in East India?
Okay.
For me, well, yes, it's like nobody's asking me not to do things in India. Of course, we are doing in India. There are some infrastructural barriers probably that is holding us. But yes, I think Amit is the best guy who can answer this question.
I think the best guy already answered. So frankly, yes, it's a very good proposition. The thing is, I work quite closely with India. I mean, if you see, I mean, I at least visit, I mean, like I'm talking all across India. I mean, if you see, I'm in various forums and I'm in various startup groups, I'm in various vendor groups, and definitely Arijit is the one who introduced me to most of these things. And that's how, I mean, that's how we met, right, Arijit? I mean, like
Yeah,
the reason we actually started working is we discussed about some startup which is also microelectronic technology, some instrumentation company that we can develop in India. And I can tell you, we're very much working closely with here. We're trying to develop the ecosystem. And still, as a researcher, I need a facility that to continue to work. And I think it's not about one country. We work in various countries, and that's how you develop large scale technologies. So thank you very much for your idea on this.
Okay, so guys, we'll be probably skipping a lot of questions. I can see a lot of small tweet is coming, and we'll request our respected. Okay, so a question came in the chat box. Let me check it. Hi, Dr. Amit. Innovative session. Do you think 5G would change the deep tech AI? Question from Ankit.
All right. So yes, I mean, I'm not an expert in 5G. So, but still, I had a session a few months back, I think, on 5G. So I got to read a lot. Frankly, the area of what we're looking for, I mean, from my angle, is 5G is going to enable high-speed data transfer. How it's going to do, I'm not getting to that. It actually optimizes the network systems, and that is how it actually increases the overall. So it's more a computer-enabled, a programmed network. It's not like our standard standalone network, right? Now, the application that we are excited about is the medical applications. Definitely IoT, and definitely we are looking into more towards application of this big data models, machine learning, and all that supercomputers. We work with many of the people who are in quantum computing. Now, all that needs high-speed data transfer, right? So 5G is probably going to enable that and open up things like anything we have seen before. It's definitely, we are looking forward to that.
Super. I can see Dr. Shailaja Patil probably is asking something. Raise the hand. I already gave you the permission to speak. If you can't, please put your question in the Q&A box. Okay, Ankit is saying visit South Korea. It was an eye opener to use. Oh yeah, Ankit. I have visited South Korea like anything. Like we have an existing office over there. It's a beautiful country, a great connection, super technology, and great people to work with. To be very honest, yes, South Korea got a great amount of net connectivity. Yes, innovative people. Yes, but for the sake of the time, Dr. Patil, if you can't unmute yourself, we'll take all the questions after these sessions. I have a lot of questions for Elnaz as well from social media. But yes, because it's already 9, I'll be asking our next speaker to come forward and Piyush, I think you are there. Give me a moment
Yes.
to, yes. Welcome.
Morning, Arijit.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Piyush Sharma, the CEO, the C-suite advisor, the board member at IIT Delhi, India advisor to UN affiliates, a Stanford seat consultant. Welcome to World Leaders Summit, Piyush.
Thank you, Arijit. Thanks for inviting me, and I'm excited and happy to be with you all today and look forward to an interactive session. May I share the screen, Arijit?
Please, sure. The stage is
Just
yours,
give me
sir.
one. Yes. Arijit, can you confirm you can see my screen?
Yes.
The red screen, right?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So like I said, look forward to an interactive session. Just give me one. Right. So we are not going to be talking heavy duty stuff on technology that you see here. This is about demystifying. So this is how I have structured the session. We enjoy a, sorry, We enjoy a deep dive into the world of Dutch art of the golden period of the 17th century. We go to the 20th century space voyages and use digital photography as a metaphor. Okay. We talk of that enigma called business leadership, and I'm targeting to wrap it up in about 20 odd minutes. But before we get there, a quick background about myself. Arijit has been kind, but I would say God was kind, and I was fortunate to mark out a life of success as a CEO of a few multi-billion-dollar organizations. Today, besides my advisory and board roles, I operate at the intersection of academia, of the government, of multilaterals, and of the startup and technology ecosystem. So net, these are my 4 new work dots, which kind of facilitate development of skill set across the 5 types of leadership that you see here. Now, Rembrandt, does that ring a bell? So we will get there, but first things first, the AI apocalypse, as we realize, is all around us, and there are all kinds of opinions and various viewpoints being expressed all the time. So we go through the following video.
AI is accelerating growth in virtually every field. It's an ultimate disruptor.
Computer science is making inroads to every academic discipline in every aspect of our lives.
The economy and society is really demanding people who understand this new domain of computing and artificial intelligence.
Our students recognize that computing is shaping the future, and they're pushing for an education that sets the foundation for it.
So research institutes, top corporates, educational institutions.
MIT is making a bold announcement today. MIT is announcing the creation of the Stephen A. Schwarzman College of Computing. That's a radical, bold move by MIT to adjust and prepare the students of today for the world of the future.
There is tremendous interest in understanding the ethical and societal implications of new technologies, and particularly the technologies.
So research institutes, top corporates, educational institutes, and states around the world are competing and collaborating to get to the Holy Grail. And MIT, as we understand, is investing as much as $1 billion. So AI startups are registering exponential growth, and so is the VC funding for them. We realize that exponential 2.1 times for AI startups versus an incremental 1.3x growth for all startups. And similar is the playbook for VC funding, as we see 4.5x for AI VC funding versus 2.08 for all. Now, Rembrandt, as we all realize, is one of the greatest visual artists in the history of art, and most important in perhaps Dutch art history. So a quick video.
One of Rembrandt's great achievements was to portray human emotions in a much more convincing way than artists had before him, and in many ways for all time.
At ING, we believe in the power of innovation, what it can mean to people. We want to bring this innovative spirit to our sponsorship of Dutch art and culture. We knew that for this challenge, we needed to team up with experts from various fields to make this come to life.
We're using a lot of data to improve business life, but we haven't been using data that much in a way that touches the human soul. You could say that we use technology and data like Rembrandt used his paints and his brushes to create something new.
The first step was to study the works of Rembrandt in order to create an extensive database. We gathered the data from his collection of paintings from many different sources, including 3D scans and upscale images using a deep learning algorithm. Because a significant percentage of Rembrandt paintings were portraits, we analyzed the demography of the faces in these paintings, looking at factors like gender, age, and head direction. The data led us to the conclusion that the subject should be a portrait of a Caucasian male with facial hair between 30 and 40 years old, in dark clothing with a collar, wearing a hat, and facing to the right. From there, we started to extract features only with faces that were related to that specific profile.
And we had to create a whole painting from just data. And we used statistical analysis and various algorithms to extract the features that make Rembrandt Rembrandt.
We took parts of the face and we started to compare them. And then based on this, we're able to create a typical Rembrandt eye or nose or mouth or ear. After generating the features, we were focusing on the face proportions. We used an algorithm that can detect over 60 points in a painting. We were able to align the faces and to estimate the distance between the eyes, the nose, and the mouth and the ears.
A painting is not a 2D picture. It's 3D. You can see the canvas, you can see the process, and that's what makes the painting come alive. A height map is essential to make the painting a painting.
We incorporated the height map into the painting and printed on a 3D printer that uses a special paint-based UV ink. It printed many layers, one on top of the other, which resulted in the height and texture of the final painting.
It's sometimes a magical moment to see a painting for the first time, even if it's computer generated. For me, it is something special. I would have believed if I saw it in a museum that it would have been a real Rembrandt, just one I haven't seen before.
It will be interesting to see Rembrandt looking at it. You will be happy that there are people trying to understand him and trying to create something.
So a dive into Rembrandt's world, blurring the boundaries between art and technology. I think they set out on a challenge to see if the great master can be brought back to life to create a new painting, right? Of course, it came with its own fair set of bricks or bouquets and thorns and flowers and praise and hate. Now, what you see on your screen is Russell Kirsch, and he's the guy who's credited in 1957 with pioneering digitally scanned image of his own son, Baby Walden, in 1957. This was 176 into 176 pixels. So Baby Walden Kirsch is the first digitally scanned image, and it revolutionized the world because as he digitized the first image through his invention of the world's first digital scanner, the coming era will completely be marked by some things, which was like in 1975, Steve Sassoon's Kodak digital camera was a revolutionary product. It was one of the first era digitization products to really make it big. And at its peak, Kodak had a valuation of something like $28 billion with employee strength of 140,000 odd. This is till mobile telephony and the arrival of ecosystems kind of did them in. So in the second section, I'm going to be talking about, for a moment, taking a detour and talking about exponential innovation. So a quick backdrop and a look into the past tells us that we really come a long way. In the pre-18th century, the key growth drivers were cultivation and extraction. And in the 19th and 20th century, you had manufacturing and industry. And in 21st century, it is computing power and pretty much the age of human potential. So what we need to understand is that while the agricultural and industrial revolution were spaced out by something like 8,000 years, the human genome was sequenced barely 9 years after the arrival of the World Wide Web. So if you combine this with the exponential growth in computing power that we are now witnessing, it's progressing more each hour than it ever did in the entire first 90 years. You have a totally new scenario on the board. It's just not your father's globalization anymore. What really jumps out from the findings is that data flows now have a larger impact on economic growth than the global goods trade. And this is pretty remarkable when you consider that while the world's trade networks took centuries to develop, cross-border data flows barely registered 15 to 20 years ago. And this is the kind of implication that you have, Believe it or not, those are the specs that this Apollo moon mission really worked on, which is equivalent to the power of a musical greeting card, or the famed NASA rover Curiosity. Believe it or not, again, those are the specs that it worked on. So the technology that took rover Curiosity to the space compares so embarrassingly with what goes with us everywhere as a matter of routine, sometimes even to our bathrooms. So exponential technologies of exponential possibilities of exponential innovation, right? Accelerating pace of change and exponential growth in computing power which is clearly leading us to a path of what they're calling as singularity, and at a tipping point is where magic happens. So one of the most important slides that you see is right here, the game of digitization. So once a product or service is digitized into ones and zeros, it can be copied and shared at a near zero marginal cost. And this is what makes it get onto an exponential curve. Such disruptive growth is what leads to dematerialization and demonetization, right? You are no longer having a chunky GPS set on your sitting on the dashboard of your automobile. It now sits like an app on your mobile phone. So such disruptive growth is what leads to this dematerialization and demonetization, right? Which is what has happened in the case of photography, making it available to billions of users in a digital world. And this is what is the impact of exponential innovation across industries, across geographies, across businesses. And the valuation of those businesses in terms of number of years, we all realize that the market capitalization to $1 billion today takes far less time now. And we also realize that this has led to a situation where giants can clearly fall and pygmies can become giants. So let's talk about the experience economy for a moment. The humble coffee bean as a commodity to, we've come really a long way to packaged coffee powder as a product, to the service of enjoying ready-made coffee, to a staged experience of a cafe. And this is how the progression of economic value really goes, right? So in money terms, you have from a 1 cent to a $5. That's a 500x as a factor. Welcome, if I may say, to the party. And this is happening everywhere. All commodities are witnessing a similar situation. And finally, in a digital age, this leads to what is being called as a digital transformation. So in terms of AI, coming back, the first large use case, is of the world's largest unicorn, which is Alipay, which is Ant Financial, which is part of Chinese e-commerce and retail services multinational giant Alibaba Group. So 2016 is when it took off. And we know that through digital learning, AI can take the same data to enlarge the scope of services across several new market opportunities at, once again, zero marginal cost. And this is what leads to a digital domino effect. So Ant Financial is one firm that uses AI across almost all its operations. And how it works is that there's something called an AI factory, which needs to be understood, which is at the heart of all modern enterprises. And to the extent that they deal with data, with the algorithms, with software, and with computation, almost all AI factories look the same. It could be for a fintech company, it could be for a social media company, it could be for a content streaming company, right? And Financial, if we look at, it's a multi-sided platform model, pretty much what Facebook is, or various other successful Uber and Airbnb are. So we increase that. You need to notice the increase of the scope of services. And in fact, in the context of India, United Payments, UPI, there is this case of a Rajni, and this is Government of India's payment stack, where there is Aadhaar, which is the identity stack, UPI, which is the payment stack. Then there is health stack that they are now today talking about building, and there is the insurance stack that they are working on. In fact, day before yesterday, only Bill Gates has complimented India's digital foray and footprint, and the way India has handled the whole thing. So what we're talking about is algorithms here. What we're talking about here is network effects because of AI. So the more the number of users, the greater is the value. This is where the beauty of the whole thing lies. If this is a device that I have, which is 100 of us have this device, the device value does not increase if I were talking about something called a pen, right? But if with network effects, if 200 of us have it, the value increases. That's the power of network effects for you. Now, Ant Financial, as I said, uses AI. They look at data, zero marginal cost. If 1 billion transactions have to be done, naturally, what we're talking about is that it cannot be done by humans, right? So AI is very, very clearly going to shape all that we do, which is Satya Nadella for you. And for a moment, what is AI? So we understand that human intelligence typically manifests itself across visual perception, across speech recognition, across decision making, and across translation between languages. Now, if and when computer systems do that, that is what the business of AI is all about. So there is the example of weak AI, which abounds in search and maps and voice assistants and chatbots. But strong AI is what refers to machines that can think and act in a way that matches or surpasses human intelligence. And what are the drivers of AI? So fundamentally three things. More data, we understand that it is ubiquitous now. It is greater access is what is there for everyone. There is cheap and more computing power, which is leading to on-demand cloud computing and what have you. And there is finally advanced algorithms. So data, computing power, and advanced algorithms is what the drivers of AI are. Now, let's talk about the implications on business. And for a moment, I will go into what a business model and an operating model and the difference between the two is. This is basic 101 on management. So Peter F. Drucker, the father of management, said that a business exists to create a customer. And Philip Kotler, the father of marketing, told us that the customer is the king and came out with the concept of something called the customer value proposition. So at the heart of business is value, the value creation, value capture, value extraction. So business model game is all about this concept called value. The operating model, on the other hand, concerns itself with scale, with scope, and with learning. So Alfred Chandler's seminal major work, which won him his first Pulitzer Prize winning, The Visible Hand, right? So this is the fundamental difference. And just to explain it a little more, so scale, volume, and complexity and customer. If you're looking at scale, volume, complexity, and customer, then you have to think Ford. If you're looking at scope, you're looking at variety and range, perhaps an Amazon comes to your mind. And learning is where R&D and continuous improvement and IP generation. So perhaps a P&G or a Toyota is what comes to the mind. The important thing is scale, scope, and learning, all three traditional operating performance drivers, right? They have constraints. This is what needs to be understood. Finally, they have constraints, right? So traditional firms will typically experience diminishing returns as you increase the scale or the scope of operation and the curve starts to bend. The ability to service 1 million customer strains the system vis-a-vis the ability to service, let's say, 100,000 customers. So this is what a traditional firm and a traditional business model looks like. Now, what are the drivers, are the constraints to in a traditional operation? This is the key line, right? But in a digital world, they all look the same. Scale, scope, and learning are now achieved through the three drivers. As I said, greater access to more data, cheap and more computing power, and advanced algorithms. So digital operating models have near zero marginal costs. Remember Baby Walden, the images could be replicated at zero cost. They generate network and learning effects, thereby they increase the value of the firm further. So scale comes at zero marginal cost. Think, cloud computing. Scope comes with aggregation and with modularity across markets. Once again, think Amazon. And learning is through constant innovation in an AI environment. Perhaps Facebook comes to one's mind. So in digital, you have zero marginal cost. Network effects are at play. Learning effects are also there. And that's where the improving the value is what comes into mind. And this is what leads to the the giants like a Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, etc., and their valuations increasing further and further. So digital operating model very clearly removes traditional constraints of scale, scope, and learning. This is what needs to be understood, and this is the power of AI, and this is what enables in another market to have a Baidu, Huawei, Alibaba, Tencent, etc., what we talked about as Google, Apple, Facebook, etc., in a regular worldwide market. So typically, if I were to take you back to, let's say, the 1960s, the American railroads lost out to the American aviation because they forgot to define themselves as being in the business of transportation and continued to define themselves as being in the business of railways. And, the humble wristwatch is, theoretically speaking, out of 8 billion people, 6.5 billion perhaps use wristwatches. And the technical utilitarian purpose of a wristwatch, which is to tell time, right, is something which has limited applicability. So you have a market potential of a 6.5 billion numbers of wrists around the world, till smart marketeers come and redefine the business, not to be the business of time telling, but be in the business of fashion. So Piyush Sharma uses a different watch when he's sitting here versus when he's going out to play golf versus when he's going out for a formal business meeting, or and so on and so forth, right? So this needs to be understood very clearly. And this is where the impact of the upcoming exponential technologies needs to be understood. I think one of the most important things to understand, if I were to take you back to the year 1995, the top 15 technology companies of the world, between them had a combined valuation of $16 billion. 20 years fast forward, 2015, the top 15 technology companies, internet companies of the world, between them have a combined valuation of $2.5 to $3 trillion. So $16 billion to $2.5 trillion. This is obviously not inflation adjustment that we're talking about here. Something drastic has happened to the world, and that drastic thing is the coming together of ecosystems, of platform business models, and of AI. So most of us would have perhaps seen this. So I will quickly rush through this. My time, I realize, may just be getting over.
You can take time, no problem.
I would So let's arrive at the new rules. I think digital connectivity is very clearly leading to network evolution, which is what is resulting in hub formation. So there is perpetual disruption, which is leading to a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And there is no decoupling in this connected world. So everyone is impacted. It's not as if the West and East are two different animals and two different jungles. So economic power is getting concentrated into a few key hubs. And as AI can also, one of the very important things is AI can help create bias also at scale. So the issue of ethics, of privacy, of cybersecurity, of inclusiveness, all of these are becoming even larger. And, in such a situation, what do I do? What do we have to do? So it's basically a call to action. I think what we need to understand is that we're living in an algorithmic world where nothing is an original anymore, not even you, not even anything, right? So AI-enabled digital transformation and platform revolution is disrupting industries everywhere and adapting quickly to change. So that's one. Embracing digital, and becoming an active part of the ecosystem, participating ourselves is, I think, essential. Collaboration, co-creation to unleash the power of networks and communities to drive digital transformation, in my opinion, is really the key. My parting note is that we saw how reinventing the data, the firm around data, around analytics and AI removes traditional constraints on scale, scope, and learning that have restricted business growth historically for hundreds of years, right? So when traditional operating constraints are removed, strategy becomes a whole new game, one whose rules and likely outcomes I hope today's presentation made clear. So Industrial Revolution 4, with the fusion of technologies across physical, across digital, and across biological spaces, is allowing, reinventing the firm around data, around connectivity, around analytics, and around, AI is what is removing the conventional limitations of scale, scope, and learning. And I would say that AI combined with increased connectivity, with increased computing and data, is the kosher game changer. And now is the right time to board the AI bus, right? That's it. Thank you for your patience. I'm up for questions, comments, observations, doubts, anything, all yours.
Super panel, super speaking. Thank you so much, Piyush. So we already got a comment in the comment box that it's a really amazing session. So question for you from social media. Piyush, you're there? I can't see that.
Yes, I'm here. I'm just trying to, you want me to take off the screen, right?
Yeah, I just did that. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I'm your assistant today, so.
Yeah, kind of you. Just give me one moment.
No problem. Okay. So there's a question from social media.
Yeah.
As the advancement of AI is increasing day in and day out, there is a security issue that's happening. There is a privacy issue that's happening. In fact, there are issues for kids' privacy.
Yeah.
Your comments on that?
Yeah, so privacy, I think data.
This is basically from a very different time zone. I'm really surprised that they are commenting. It's from Switzerland.
From where are they plugging in?
Switzerland.
Okay. I can mentally take myself there. So thank you for plugging in. Okay. So yes, it is true. All of these issues, whether it is privacy, security, surveillance, capitalism, as they are calling it, all of these are very, very real issues. It is not only got to do with the AI, I think it's got to do with the times that we live in, and it is all created and centered around this data. So everyone is realizing that data is not a neutral field anymore, right? And governance is imperative, and governments around the world are struggling with a situation where technological innovation and technological pace is almost always surpassing that of the regular legislative intervention. So all the governments around the world, whether it is GDPR in Europe, or whether it is the California law in America, whether it is now China waking up to, perhaps, I don't know whether making it even still more stringent than what they already have. So China and Korea is one kind of model, and India is somewhere aligning, or alluding towards more of a GDPR driven model, and yet with greater controls like those of China. So it's something which is very real. It is something which is hitting us. But as I said, technology is almost always surpassing the legislation. But I would guess, there is around this, there are tens of hundreds of issues in the limited time. I don't know how we will be able to do justice. There is the call for the breakup of big tech. There is the call for antitrust and, various other things that are coming up. But it is very important that governments around the world take charge. And at the same time, the way to expand the economic opportunity for the world is really through the route of allowing innovation while securing the privacy issues around the whole new exponential technologies.
Okay, so super answer. Thank you so much for that. Soma, she's asking you directly. Okay, you got a lot of comments like Farah. Thank you so much for the comment. Power packed full substance. Thank you so much, Dr. Piyush and Arijit. Well, yes, we are also thankful. Thank you, Farah, for joining and giving all the supports that you're doing. Thank you for being so kind. Anupam Ved, amazing session. Where do you differentiate between complex computing and AI? Okay, where do you differentiate between complex computing and AI? Yeah.
Okay, so I am raising my hands and declaring my incompetence as far as anything related to the technical aspects or the technological aspects of AI is concerned. Okay, and I said in the beginning, what I'm trying to do is demystifying AI specifically in the context of how it impacts day-to-day life and how it is impacting businesses, industries, and overall ecosystem living that we are into. Now, this is slightly on the technical side. What I do understand is that for AI to succeed, one of the key drivers is computing power, right? But I would really honestly just give it up where I wouldn't know how, if there is a
no problem.
Yep.
So we can always ask this question to our respected
other experts.
Other experts. Dr. Amit or Elnaz, if you want to take this question and answer, any one of you can turn on your camera, come live and answer this question. Shall I repeat the question? So the question is, where do you differentiate between complex computing and AI? Dr. Amit or Elnaz, if you're there online. I can take the question, but I'm not the speaker. So Elnaz.
Yeah, because I am more on the business side rather than the technical side. I feel like this is more of a technical question. I need to have my CTO with me.
Okay, no worries. No problem.
Good to see you here, Elnaz. Hi.
You too. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, we'll skip this probably for now. I can't see Amit. Probably he could have answered. But yes, thank you, Marco, for the congratulations. Okay, Shoma. Wonderful session, Dr. Piyush. This is Shoma from Business Bio. Christian, traditional large business still has non-digital process and data silos. How do you see them taking advantage of AI and innovation?
So Soma, I'm going to be taking you back to some 30 years ago, right? Computerization had just about started creeping in. I remember that I finished my formal education by the mid 1990s, and I had not learned a single course in computers in my 4 years of Masters of Honors in Physics and 2 years of full-fledged MBA education, right? And we are therefore not digital natives, not even computer natives, and everything that we learned was on the job. When we entered the industry, there were no computers, and the one person who did have the computers, he was considered a VIP, a very important and special person. I guess we are witnessing a time when, like I said, the consumption spreads very, very fast today. What took a Microsoft 26 years to reach a 1 billion numbers of consumers, Android did it in 6.5 years, and today we are realizing that companies are rushing to a billion dollar valuation in no more than 2.5 to 3 years of existence. So in such a fast-paced world, I would think the ability for everyone to adapt to this change in a Charles Darwin terms is what will account for one's survival on the one side and growth on the other side. So all the traditional firms very, very clearly will have to adapt themselves and digitally transform themselves to take advantage and position themselves rightfully to be able to take advantage of all of these exponential technologies, whether it is AI, ML, cybersecurity, fintech, tens of others that I know that the World Leaders Summit is also covering so beautifully and so well. So my compliments, Arijit. Sorry, I've just not been able to communicate that even as we were beginning, but my compliments on putting this really great, good show together.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have another question, like a lot of questions are coming. What corporate collaboration challenges have you faced in various regions in the world? Question is to Piyush, probably. Yeah, Marco from Australia.
Yeah, Marco, that's a very, very interesting question. I think principally the ability of one to wade into the philosophy and the belief that life is a big collaboration and that we are the sum total of the greatness of people around us, of organizations around us, of resources around us is the first step, right? And it's like when all of these energies are aligned in one direction, you have boom, you have magic, and when they are misaligned is when kind of it goes down. So we've seen such a co-optation at a point in time and cooperation between two disparate kind of companies in the past. This is about 15 to 20 years ago, but today if you look at it, companies are coming together in all kinds of innovative combinations to be able to fight it out together where it is needed. So in my own experience, I have seen that collaboration is something which mostly in progressive companies and large companies and developed markets of the world, including the developing markets of the world, people have been very, very prone to embrace and take forward.
Okay. So like we'll be skipping few of the questions as of now because honestly speaking, we'll be probably running short of time. Okay. Okay, no worries, Amit. It's perfectly fine. So we have another question. My God, it's blasted with questions. We'll keep those questions after all speakers are done. Twitter, Piyush, hold on. Elnaz, hold on. Amit, we have a lot of questions, but this is actually the time when we will be doing a startup and industry awards session. So I'll ask my teammate Nymphia to probably announce the first name. Nymphia, could you please turn on your mic and announce the first awardee? And I'll be requesting Elnaz to give the award to the awardee. First awardee name from you, Nymphia, and just put him or her as a panelist and ask them to unmute themselves so that we can see them and hear them.
Yes, a very good morning. So the first awardee that we have is Mustafa Sir, the founder of iWanga.
Mustafa, if you are there, please raise your hand. We'll pull you up as a panelist and you can then speak. Got it. You can now turn on your camera, Mustafa. Let the world see what you do. Please give us a brief detail about yourself. Mustafa.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
I'm audible?
Yes.
Good morning, everyone.
Very good morning.
Morning.
So, let me just reorganize my... Okay, so it's a great pleasure and honor for me to be here and to participate in this summit that brings together leaders from around the world. This summit represents a major asset for a very small startup like ours to be know and probably to have the necessary support for our development. So thank you very much for the urge job you are doing. So let me introduce myself. So first, I'm an expert in digital strategy and solution architect, and I have more than 10 years of experience in assisting large European company with digital transformation. For 2 years now, I decided to take an interest in innovation on Africa population issues. because my objective is to participate in a development of the continent with the little knowledge and skills that I had acquired during my humble journey. So regarding Iwanga, we are specialists in digital transformation and innovation for to connect African countries population to the digital being, imagining, and creating services that start from their realities. Indeed, we have a huge lake of services adapted to the realities that population live when we know let low rate of illiteracy and education on the concepts and uses of technology. So our ambition is to implement a solution based on intelligent voice technology and natural language. This solution allows user to benefit from internet services using only their voice and the language they master. The goal is to enable people to place order for product on the internet using their local language and with only their voice, without writing anything from their mobile like in a physical store.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. May I request Elnaz to please announce the award and grace the event, please. Elnaz.
Hi, Mustafa. It was wonderful to hear about your company. You're doing an incredible job, and it's my great pleasure to actually present you with this award. And once again, congratulate you for this outstanding achievement. I know you've been working really hard, and in between a lot of startups that they've applied on behalf of all the jury, I would take this opportunity to present the award to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Amazing work.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll of course mail it to you, as well as there are a couple of surprises waiting. So I'll ask my team Nymphia to please put him as a attendee. I already did that. So yeah. So Nymphia, could you please announce the next awardee's name so that we can have him or her? Next awardee, please, Nymphia.
Sure, absolutely. So the next awardee that we have is Kushal Bed from Gamergate Studio.
Just pull him up as a panelist. Okay, I did that, Nymphia, for you. Don't worry. Kushal, you have 2 minutes to explain what you do. Kushal, if you're there.
Hi.
Hi, Kushal. Kushal is a kid.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Kushal is a kid, and he's probably 14 now. He's running his own indie game studio. Kushal, the stage is yours.
Hi everyone. I'm Kushal Ved. I'm an indie game developer and also a AR/VR developer. Currently running my own indie studio named as Gamergate from past 1 year. So currently what we are focusing on making games, and the second thing we are focusing on, which is AR and VR. We are trying to as much as people tell people about this AR and VR, and also we are conducting sessions on behalf of that. So, and telling other people, so what's the use of this and how you can also create this type of amazing experience. So this was our work, and also we provide services on AR, VR and game development related, so that we can also make sure that if anybody need anyone, so that we can pull their request and we can make it up. So these are something a short.
Thank you so much, Kushal. Just may I request Elnaz to kindly.
Thank you. It's amazing to meet you and congratulations. I want to take this time to present this award to you on behalf of the jury, the organizers, and once again to congratulate you on your outstanding achievement.
Thank
This wasn't
you.
easy. You definitely deserve it and keep up the great work.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Arun. Thanks,
Kushal.
Arun.
Give me a second to manage it. Okay. I think we have Steve over here from Australia for the industry award. Steve, if you're there, kindly raise your hand so that we can pull you up. Steve from Australia. Priyadarshini, I'll check you after Steve. Give me a second, please. Steve, if you're there, please raise your hand. Huh? Steve, I can see you. You're promoted as a panelist. Please turn on your camera and your mic. Steve. Okay, probably we'll have him again. Steve is in a board meeting, probably. But yes, for now, let's have Priyadarshini from India. Let me promote her as a panelist. Priyadarshini, you can turn on your camera and talk about your venture to the world. Priyadarshini, over to you. Priyadarshini, you're there?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Super. Could you please turn on your camera and talk a bit about your venture, what you do?
Hi, I'm Priyadarshini. So mine is a edtech startup. Basically, it's a live learning platform that connects rural students through learning centers and through their smartphones to teachers in urban areas, to teachers from the from other countries also. So I'm so sorry, I'm late in joining. I just
Okay, so this is what happens in robotics, deep tech, and AI, summit when we have a network glitch. Well, this is India. Welcome to the low, so-called 4G or 5G network. Anyway, we'll have her again, but we can't wait for the internet. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give the session to Elnaz, but let us wait for maybe 1 or 2 minutes if she can join back. Priyadarshini, if you're there with us. Okay, no worries. Elnaz, over to you.
Well, I wish actually hopefully she can at least hear it. Priyadarshini, right? I want to congratulate you for this incredible achievement and getting this prestigious award. What you do in EdTech is truly amazing. Congratulations on having this incredible mission to, I believe, change the world. And I would like to present this award to you on behalf of the jury and the organization. And we truly look forward to hearing more success stories from you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Priyadarshini, could you please?
And welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. Could you please finish your speech? What exactly you do, how you do?
Yeah. So I'm so sorry. There's a lot of internet connectivity problems. I don't know why, but it's just.
It's perfect. Just try to finish it off so that
yeah,
at least we don't miss
thanks
it.
a lot. Extremely happy for being given this award. I hope the World Forum can also include inclusive education for the rural people, because the developing countries need such platforms, and people like us are trying to really make a change in the rural areas. So thanks a lot, Arijit sir. Thanks a lot, ma'am, for this award.
Let me share it once again so that You can also watch it. Give me a second. Here you go, Priyadarshini. Thank you so much. You have been awarded as a World Digital Education Excellence Award 2020, and we are all happy to have you over here. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
May I request my teammate to announce the next awardee, please? Okay, there is information from Australia. We can't have the Australian people. I can see Steve is there, but he can't join because there is a storm going on in Sydney at the moment. So there is a huge network glitch that happening. I wish all of them are safe. Steve, you stay here as a panelist. Once your storm is over, probably we can announce it. In any case, can we have the next awardee, Nymphia, please?
Yes, sir.
Please announce and please raise your hand after that. Please announce the
The
name.
next awardee that we have here is Miss Martha Shumba from She Dad Ventures. So, Miss Martha, could you please unmute yourself?
Martha, you are promoted as a panelist. Please tell the world what you do. Martha Shumba.
Yes. I don't know what happened there. I just saw I'm rejoining. Hi, good day. It's too early morning. I don't know. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the award. I'm Martha and the founder of the She Dad Holdings. What we do, we provide superior training solutions on digital skills, particularly the Internet of Things, coding, computer networks, and cybersecurity operations to actually empower and equip young people and small and medium enterprises for the fourth industrial revolution, especially to previously disadvantaged citizens we have a commitment to service delivery and superiority. So we actually seek to build capacity through continuous infusion and dissemination of technology into personal work, education and business, social and family contexts for both personal and collective benefits. So that as we are operational in Joburg and Port Elizabeth, which is in South Africa, and venturing into Zimbabwe as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let me ask our respected speaker to announce the award, please.
Thank you. It is my great pleasure to first of all to know you and present you with your award. It's on behalf of the jury and the organization. I want to congratulate you on your success and truly wish you incredible success moving forward. I know these are all the beginnings and we are looking forward to hearing amazing stories from you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
So may I request Nymphia to please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The last but not the least for the day, we have Mr. Naman Avadhya from Mobilitics Company. Mr. Naman, could you please unmute yourself?
Naman, if you're there.
Yeah. I'm here. Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for this award. I'm Naman. I'm a transport planner and own the company Mobilitics Technologies. And our product is to make electric vehicles more reliable. We make smart battery management system which provide predictive maintenance and increase the life cycle of lithium-ion battery packs by 40% to gain the more electric vehicle trust on this country, on India. So our product is around to enhance the electric vehicle mobility in India.
Super. So let me have the opportunity. Your name is Naman, right?
Yeah.
And Naman, what is your company name? I'm really sorry.
Mobilitics. Yeah, Mobilitics Technology.
got you. Can I request Elnaz to please formally?
Hi, Naman. It's wonderful to meet
Hi.
you. It's my great pleasure to congratulate you and to present you your award for your incredible job and success. On behalf of the jury and the organization, we truly wish you incredible success and keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. So probably my fellow teammate did some mistake because it's not the last award, honestly speaking, that we are giving. Naman, let me put you as a attendee, and we'll be back very soon with the industry award because of the storm. We can't give award to the Australian people and 2 people from UK. There is some time difference, or probably they are not awake. So yes, we are there for the next speaker. As I can see that we have the next speaker with us, Mr. Hamid. If you're there, could you please turn on your camera and microphone? Hamid, my friend. Hamid Al-Biti is a technology transfer strategist, a venture capital advisory, a professional lecturer. Hamid is working in multiple different Gulf countries and a dedicated researcher with a great background in economics along with strong analytical skills and interest in the fields of microeconomics. Hamid, welcome to World Leaders Summit. Hamid, you're there? I can see that you have already joined. I don't know if your mic is working. Hamid?
Hello, my friends. How are you?
Probably you are joining with 2 different devices, Hamid. Could you please turn off one device's mic so that there is no echo?
Yeah. Now, yes. Now it's off. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to World Leaders Summit.
Everything.
Please enlighten us with your knowledge and vision.
Okay, thank you. At the first, it's my pleasure being a part of this decision, and also thank you to you, Arjit, and also it's my pleasure to meeting the Elnaz Saraf, and also the good startups you choose. Thank you again. Yes, my decision is talking about the regulation lagging behind the AI growth around the world. Let me know what is the next step. I should start now.
Yeah, you should start now. It's totally your session.
It's okay. Okay, thank you again for giving this time to me. I want to talk short and direct, not 30 minutes. I prefer to talk in 10 minutes, but going the highlighted points about the regulation, the lagging of regulation. At the first, as you know, the AI is growing around the world, and also AI is expecting and also is affecting all aspects of our life, the economics, the scientific, social, and also the strategic adventure. But unfortunately, we don't have any clear regulation and also the law around the world about the artificial intelligence. Let me to share with you 2 stories about this lagging. The first one is about the Sophia. As you know, the Sophia is the first robot is working based on the AI and now is leaving behind us. But if Sophia coming out from home, going to shop, and when she is coming back has an accident, who is responsible about it? What is law about it? She will give the penalty. She will give the right. What is the right of these robots? It's same for all the robots around the world. On the other hand, now we can see the robots are working based on the artificial intelligence in military aspects around the world. But after a war or after a fighting, can claims anything. Why we don't have any clear regulation about the robots and also AI. On the other hand, robots don't have any rights in our society. Now we are using them, but they don't have any rights in our world. This was just two aspects of the robots and also the artificial intelligence. We can using these words for algorithm and data makers, robots, and if one algorithm be run, for example, in aircraft, if one algorithm maker be run, who is responsible? The robot makers or the robot? Also, as you know, the artificial intelligence is developing daily, but regulation not. I think the main problem is that the decision makers and also the lawmakers are not developing. And at the first step, in my view, it's better to decision makers gather together, knowing more about artificial intelligence and making good decisions for all aspects of AI. Let me to share with you the survey in 29 in Malaysia. It shows 54% of people believe that regulation is so critical and should be done by a public body to confirm safe development of AI. 54%. On the other hand, 6% are believe regulation is not needed in AI. This 6% was the tech executive, and 54% was the general population. It makes a danger for the future of the AI decision making. The problem is that I heard some president, for example, the Angela Merkel, president of Germany, and also the Emmanuel Macron, president of France, now are stressed on AI. But now we don't have any clear law and regulation about AI yet. On the other hand, United States with 40% of AI startups, China with 11%, Israel with 11%, and all of the EU countries, included UK, 22% of the startups are working on AI. But now EU started to making some decisions and also introducing some and the AI startups as a high-level startup, supporting them. But as you know, we cannot doing just one region, one country, or one area as the father of regulation law in AI. All of the China, Russia, Israel, I don't know, the EU countries should gather together and making a clear decision about the AI and artificial intelligence. Another important point is that, during these years, the accelerator are working on artificial intelligence increased rapidly in the world, but they also don't have any regulation for accepting teams, which idea should be developed, and so on. During the 2019, $30 trillion invested and also invested in AI aspect for starting and launching the accelerator, incubator, supporting a startup, investor as angel, and also as VC. And this amount of money will be increased until 2030 based on the prediction to $20 trillion. However, we don't have any clear regulation yet. What is the future of AI? In my view, it's better to United Nations as the supportive of the human right around the world, having a department to supporting the AI aspect. If robots can be, if robots want to be a part of our life, It's better they have right. They will work with us. Maybe tomorrow morning when you're going out from the home, you see a robot is your neighborhood. What is its right? What is your right? What will they do? And so on. This is the first part of speaking, and I don't know the process. Let me know if the people have any questions. I will answer and continue just a short about the future of the AI and regulation. I cannot hear you.
Yeah, so there is a sequential aspect that we do. After the speaking slot, we usually open the floor for Q&A. So it's already opened. If you have any question for Mr. Hamid, of course, we'll be more than happy to answer the question. Give me a couple of minutes, Hamid, so that I can grab the questions pull the questions from the social media and give it back to you. Meanwhile, if you have any question, type it in the chat box. Okay, so Mr. Hamid, there is a very interesting question from Twitter. Advancement of AI doesn't implicate the privacy of human being. I think this is a common question we are getting day in and day out, each and every day. Your comments on that? The privacy issues,
about the privacy.
Yes.
Okay. You know, Arjit, honestly, we don't have, as I told you, any clear law and regulation about it. The AI now is working. For example, as you heard the news about the Instagram microphone is active during you are using the internet, and it can give your words and your favorite and show some explorer to you. We don't have any clear law about it. Because of that, the Instagram now can use your microphone when you are using internet. Maybe you are using the Zoom, but your microphone is active for Instagram. The reason is any clear law and regulation about it. If we have any clear regulation, we can make a clarification more for the Instagram, why you are using the microphone and so on. Because of that, as I told you, it's better gather together all of the countries' decision makers and making a clear decision about the AI and also the using it in different aspects of our life.
Super. So there is another question from, again, social media. What is your opinion about creating a weapon based out of AI and probably use that as a warmonger machine? Is it
now the countries are using that?
Yeah, is it good for world peace, or do you feel that AI can be dangerous to probably start more biowar and robotics war?
You know, the AI and the weapons are working based on the AI are the same as the nuclear energy. Nuclear energy can be used for producing the power. On the other hand, we can use it as a weapon to destroying the different parts of the world. Because of that, it's related to our mindset. If, as I told you, we have a clear regulation, we can ban countries to don't using that. But we can see some using of the robots and also the AI weapons around the world now, and we cannot claim anything.
Okay, super. So we are getting a lot of more comments. I think Dr. Amit Banerjee, excellent talk, Mr. Hamid. Sophia, the humanoid robot, has been covered by media around the globe in high-profile interviews. The first non-human to be given by United Nations title and the first robot to receive citizenship of any country. Where are we heading in legal human rights for robots within us?
I'm right, but let me to excellent. Sophia, has been covered by media around the globe in hyper the first known human to be given by any United Nations title and the first robot to receive citizenship. Where are we hitting legal human rights? I talked about the subject, I think, and said the United Nations can be making the decision and also the decision makers about the robots and also the AI. But now we don't have any clear regulation. Because of that, robots can live with us. As I told you, the Sophia is an example. We have, for example, the dog robots, the notes robots, and so on. They are living with some people. You can see some cars. I saw a car, I don't know in which accelerator from the France. Now they are working on that. The car, the morning can going to any place you want, and for example, giving a packet and coming back to home. This is a new car, and the one accelerator from the France is working on that.
Okay, so we have another question from Marco from Australia. What ethical time frame do you believe policies, being governments, need to trial AI robots require?
I didn't understand the clear of the question.
What ethical time frame do you believe policies or governments need to trial the AI-based robots?
I think it should be the same of the human. If we have right for buying, if we have right going to police and making complication, any right for human should be legislated by government for robots, because they are a part of our society. You know, let me share with you. You know, the European Unity says a robot is a device with human back. Thus, human is responsible for that. This shows Europe don't like to giving rights to robots as a part of our society. But China and the US believes that robots are a part of our society and giving the completed rights to them. This is the conflict. The countries cannot making a common and mutual regulation about the robots.
Okay, super answer. So I think we have a lot of more questions, but I'll keep it for the award now. Okay, I'm so sorry. We are doing multitasking, so we can see that there is another lady. She's already there. She's supposed to get the award. So may I request Hamid to probably stick back a little, and may I request Mitchell to please turn on her camera and tell the world what you do, and then after that probably we can announce the award for you. Mitchell, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Could you please turn on your camera?
That's great. That's great. Actually, I cannot hear myself. Yes, that's great. And thank you for the reward. It's great to be part of this event. And I have watched over of the life of different entrepreneur gives a speech, which is fantastic. And I'm be very grateful for this time I gained this award, and it's a global event, and be very special. Thank you very much, and thanks.
Okay, so whoever wants to see our beautiful Michelle, that's her. May I request Piyush to please announce the award for us?
Sure, Michelle, congratulations. This is big. The World Leaders Summit is. Yep.
This is big. It is
Yeah.
very big. I am actually very, very grateful for this. And let me explain to introduce myself. I think we are with this. I actually with like 16 years background in the finance.
Mitchell, hold on for a second. Could you please kindly turn on your camera? Is it possible? Is there a network possibility you can turn it on?
Yeah. I'm honored. Of course I do. Yeah.
Please turn on your camera. Please turn on your video.
Yeah, let me.
Yes,
Can you see
now
me
we can.
now?
Yes, we can
I'm
see
sorry
you.
for I thought it's 4 o'clock, so I'm in the car right now. And but it's great to meet you guys finally.
Great to meet you, Michelle. Could you please look
Great,
at the
great.
camera for a second?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, over to you, Michelle. Just tell the world what you do.
Okay. First of all, I'm very grateful to be here with you, and thank you for the award. And I'm in actually when I was young, I have 16 years background in the finance. So I do lots of investment in the different areas. And then since 6 years ago, I invested into the fashion and the beauty industry. But it's because with right now, the worldwide, the e-commerce goes, it's totally changing the world. So my area in the beauty and fashion is with the AI and e-commerce as our base. So it's changing people's shopping habits, and we hope our technology can change the world, can help everybody, and bring the convenience to your life. I always say Alibaba or Amazon, that's 20 years ago business. So that's 20 years ago shopping habit. We are young, we waste our technology. I think, the world will follow our steps. Hopefully it can bring joy to all you guys too.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and that was amazing. So may I request Piyush to kindly announce the award for us?
Yeah, Michelle, thank you very much, and very excited to have you here. And my compliments and best wishes on going forward. What you've just shared is something that I think increasingly the world is only going to need more. And people like you, entrepreneurs like you, is who make the world go round. Only one word of clarification. There is no way that I agree with you on something where you said, when I was young. You are younger than I could have ever thought. So,
No, I have quite. The thing is, because I have quite I do lots of investment and the business too. So which make me feel like, oh, yes,
yeah.
I'm young then.
In fact,
Thank you.
offline, for my age, I was going to be asking you for cosmetic recommendations on how to look young like you.
For sure, I'm sure I will help you.
So now you got the reason that why she is getting Cosmetic Industry Excellence Award of Australia 2020.
Yeah,
Welcome to World Leaders Summit, Michelle. We are really, really happy and blessed. Thank you, Piyush, for the announcement. So now this is the time for the last but not the least, Steve. Steve can't join us probably using the video because probably there is some network glitch happening, although he is there with us logged in. So let me share the screen first and then tell the world what exactly they do. Give me a second. Here he is. They're doing really great work. And let me be the mouth and face for Steve. Steve Loader is from Australia. He got Energy Excellence Award. The only reason is the way they are working on the lithium battery project, which is an alternative power source for the car and a couple of other industry implementation. Thank you so much, Steve. And it's an honor and pleasure to announce the award. May I request our respected speaker, my good friend Piyush, to please announce the award for him, because this is recorded and live in a couple of other medium, so maybe he can watch it later. Piyush, over to you, please.
Sure. Steve, very, very happy to have you here at the World Leaders Summit 2020. I think this award is really big, and around the world, all of us acknowledge that energy and power is what drives the world, what has always driven the world. So to get it in that category, and for the great work that you've done almost of a lifetime, my compliments and best wishes going forward.
Thank you so much, Piyush. You're a gem. Thank you so much, Hamid, for all the answers and a beautiful speak. Thank you, Amit, for being with us for all the days in World Leader Summit. So for the audience, let me tell you, I am sure that we are getting questions. I can see that that's happening, but for the time, this is like, we will be overshooting. I'm very particular about timing. So for the World Leader Summit is happening for last 7 December to 16th December, continuous 10 days with 25 different industry topics. There are startups who have been applied for multiple various parts of the globe, and there are global juries, 16 juries who are actually filtering them out, giving us the results. Depending on that, we are declaring the award and the results each and every day. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much all the partners, all ecosystem players to be with us. Anim Gaming, Deep Technology, 8 Metals, Glam Worldface, Ablu Global, Animation Review, Zupim Corp, Virtual Infocom, IOI Industries, VGG, Cybersecurity Geeks, I Am Superhero, Yoga Training for You, My Films, Sports Zone In, for sports lovers, I forgot that tagline, sorry, Squash Coach, Cosplay Seller, Second Life Tech, Exo Designs. Thank you for the beautiful branding you guys have done for us. Thank you Web Hub for the whole website that you guys have created for us, and the communication method that is happening in the backend. We talk about AI. To be very honest, we have a very intelligent backend that is actually filtering out data from worldwide database to filter out people, industry leaders, so that we can know them, understand them, and then filter them and give it to the jury members. Thank you, ecosystem partners, Entrepreneur Face, Achieva Hub, BizTech, Extended Reality Developers of India, iLead, TechSauce, the largest ecosystem player in Thailand for the Startup Award, IBM TV, thank you for all the live streaming that you guys are doing, Wadhwani Foundation, Billion Divas, Africa Digital, Adavas University, thank you for all the support, HD Africa, last but not the least, all the attendees. You guys are rocking. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for tomorrow's event. We'll see you soon. I'm so sorry, that's my bad. Stay tuned for the second half. We'll have you guys all over again on this summit. The theme is AI, cybersecurity, deep tech. 4 o'clock sharp. We'll be starting with another great speaker from Montenegro, and then slowly we'll have Nisrain, Enrico, and then we'll have Rahul and Fernando. Thank you so much for being with us. Stay tuned. Live things happening. Magic happens in World Leaders Summit. Goodbye. Sayonara. Allah Hafiz. Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.